Welcome to Global Bike Buzz, where we bring you the most detailed and engaging bike reviews from around the world. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of Suzuki's most fun, stylish, and surprisingly capable small displacement motorcycles at the 2026 VanVan 200. Let's get ready to explore what makes this retro scrambler style machine so unique, how it feels on the road, and whether it's worth your hard-earned money in 2026. When you first lay eyes on the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200, the design immediately takes you back to the classic era of 1970s motorcycles. The VanVan's charm lies in its simplicity. It's not trying to be flashy or futuristic. Instead, it captures that laid-back vintage spirit that invites you to just get on and ride. Starting from the front, you're greeted by a beautifully rounded headlamp that retains the old-school halogen look but now integrates a ring-style LED DRL, giving it a perfect mix of nostalgia and functionality. The metal front fender adds a touch of ruggedness, complementing the scrambler vibe. The wide and upright handlebar setup instantly promises a relaxed and confident riding position, something that's ideal for both city cruising and light trail rides. The round mirrors maintain that timeless aesthetic, offering decent rear visibility without disturbing the overall retro design language. Moving to the side profile, the VanVan 200 looks compact yet muscular in its own quirky way. The teardrop-shaped fuel tank proudly wears the Suzuki badge, with new 2026 color schemes that include options like matte silver, deep navy blue, and a retro orange-black combo. From the back, the 2026 VanVan 200 maintains that same minimalistic but charming appeal. The rounded tail lamp and small, clean indicators look modern but stay faithful to the retro theme. The wide rear tire dominates the view, making the bike look more substantial than it actually is. The high-mounted exhaust with its chrome heat shield gives off a true scrambler aura, ready for both urban rides and sandy trails. The rear fender is short but functional, and the small grab rail blends seamlessly with the bike's frame. Every design choice feels deliberate, aimed at balancing simplicity, comfort, and that unmistakable VanVan character. Underneath its vintage looks, the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200 packs a 199cc single-cylinder, air-cooled, four-stroke engine that's tuned for smooth, tractable power delivery rather than outright performance. It produces around 16 horsepower and 15 Nm of torque, paired with a 5-speed gearbox. The engine remains fuel-injected, ensuring crisp throttle response and better fuel efficiency than the older carbureted models. The exhaust note is mellow yet satisfying, a gentle thump that matches the relaxed nature of the bike. Suzuki has fine-tuned the EFA system for better low-end torque, making it ideal for slow-speed cruising through city streets or tackling mild off-road paths. Despite being simple and air-cooled, the engine refinement is surprisingly good. Vibrations are minimal, and the bike feels well-balanced even at higher revs. When it comes to performance, the VanVan 200 isn't about speed or aggression. It's about effortless fun. The lightweight frame and low seat height make it incredibly easy to handle, even for beginners or shorter riders. It's the kind of bike that invites you to slow down, enjoy the scenery, and rediscover the joy of motorcycling. On city roads, the VanVan glides through traffic with ease. The upright ergonomics, excellent visibility, and smooth power delivery make it one of the most comfortable commuter-friendly retro bikes you can buy. On open roads, it maintains a stable and relaxed cruising speed of around 100 km/h without strain. The suspension setup is basic but effective. Telescopic forks up front and dual shocks at the rear, tuned for comfort rather than sporty handling. The wide tires absorb road imperfections well, giving the ride a soft and plush feel. Whether you're riding over cobblestone streets, sandy paths, or rough countryside roads, the VanVan 200 feels confident and composed. Suzuki's braking setup features a front disc and a rear drum, which might sound old school, but the feel and feedback are quite good for this segment. ABS is available as standard, adding an important layer of safety for modern riders. The lightweight frame and low center of gravity also help with stability during sudden stops. Overall, the VanVan is designed more for cruising and exploring rather than aggressive corner carving, and that's exactly where its charm lies. It's not meant to impress with numbers, but with how it makes you feel when you ride it. The instrument cluster on the 2026 model remains simple yet receives some modern touches. The circular digital analog hybrid setup features a speedometer, trip meter, fuel gauge, and basic indicators. It's easy to read and suits the overall retro vibe. The switchgear feels solid, and the build quality, as expected from Suzuki, is excellent. Every component feels robust, from the levers to the fuel tank cap, adding to the bike's overall durability and reliability. Fuel economy is another area where the VanVan 200 excels. With Suzuki's refined fuel injection and lightweight construction, you can expect an average of around 35 to 40 km per liter, depending on your riding style. The 6.5-liter fuel tank gives it a decent range for weekend rides or daily commuting. This makes the bike not just stylish and fun, but also practical and budget-friendly to run. The 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200 is also about lifestyle. It's not just a motorcycle. It's an attitude. Riders who appreciate simplicity, retro design, and relaxed riding will instantly connect with it. It's the kind of bike you take out for a sunset ride by the beach or a weekend camping trip. Its versatility means it's equally at home in urban environments as it is on gravel paths or forest trails. Suzuki has managed to preserve the essence of the original VanVan while subtly upgrading it for the modern age. Whether you're a new rider looking for an easy, confidence-inspiring machine or an experienced rider wanting something unique and nostalgic, the VanVan 200 fits perfectly. Now, talking about the price, Suzuki has positioned the 2026 VanVan 200 competitively in its class. Depending on the market, the estimated price ranges between $4,300 and $4,800. In countries like India, it's expected to launch at around a superscript 1 2.2 lakh X showroom. For that price, you're not just getting a motorcycle, you're getting a piece of Suzuki's heritage, wrapped in a package that's modern, reliable, and full of charm. Compared to rivals like the Yamaha TW200 or the Honda CT125, the VanVan offers a more classic design with a smoother power delivery and wider usability. As the ride comes to an end, one thing becomes crystal clear: the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200 is not built to chase speed or break records. It's built to remind you why you fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. It's that rare blend of retro style, easygoing comfort, and everyday practicality. Whether you're riding through crowded city lanes, exploring country roads, or cruising along the coastline, the VanVan 200 makes every journey feel relaxed and joyful. It doesn't intimidate. It welcomes you. It doesn't shout. It hums contently. It's a bike for those who believe that less can truly be more. So if you've been searching for a motorcycle that stands out not because of how loud or aggressive it is, but because of its timeless appeal and simple fun, the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200 deserves a spot on your short list. Suzuki has managed to keep its soul alive while refining it for a new generation of riders. It's retro done right, a perfect mix of old school charm and new age reliability. This is Global Bike Buzz, and that was our full in-depth review of the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. Let us know in the comments, would you consider the VanVan 200 as your next bike, or do you prefer something more performance-oriented? Ride safe, stay curious, and as always, keep your engines buzzing.